So, Andy, welcome to the show. This is the second day of the show. Have you been here 2 days?
Yes, yeah.
What do you think of the show so far?
I've been really impressed. I think, coming back after the pandemic, it's a hard one to judge, isn't it? And the show is smaller, we know that, but everybody here seems, they seem keen to be finding out what's happening. They're starting to put their head above the parapets again now, which is great. Seeing what products are out there. I think I summed it up yesterday. It felt like it was a real buzz around the place, which is great.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's definitely everything you just said there. I definitely agree. So, you're in marketing. How did you get into it? How did you enter the fenestration world?
Well, I've always, pretty much from a young guy, I've always been into building products or contracting. I've done various things from, I was head of marketing at Profile 22. I was sales marketing director at Sinseal in the good old days. But I've always had a passion for launching products. I've done that from a very early age, finding out what the market's doing, getting that edge, that makes you different to everybody else. And I think that's where, that marketing field, I started off in sales, so I understand what a salesman needs to make something happen and to get the interest for him.
Yeah, that's, I was sales as well, so it is more, I always explain that you're trying to find solutions for your customer as opposed to trying to push something on them.
Yeah, you're right, Richard. You're trying to create the least, the path of least resistance for somebody. Make it easy for them, give them something that they didn't know they could get, or do you know what, that makes my life a lot easier. I started off selling to architects who are a hard bunch to sell to, but as soon as you make their life easy, they'll specify you time and time again.
Yes, which is definitely something that's a tactic that a lot of companies are looking at doing now, because of course a lot of plans come into installers, they have to go somewhere and they're coming from somewhere, which is most important. So the more that the architects are aware of your products and everything that's out there, they can specify it, which is the ideal solution.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, how did you... Balls2Marketing, when did that come about then?
Well, when I left Sinseal, it had always been in my mind to, I've got a passion for marketing and really wanted to set an agency up, and it was always in the plan for Sarah and myself to set something up. And then we just said, you know what, let's do it. I had a few customers phone me up and said, can we have a chat? And it really went from there. And in fact, some of those customers 11 years later are still with us and have grown massively, and it's been a real pleasure to sort of be along that trip and that journey, really.
So when you started, what did that look like as a business? Did you sort of start it at home, or did you sort of go?
Well, we started in the conservatory, and then we were very fortunate to be able to buy an office literally a quarter of a mile from where I lived. So we did that for a long time, but last year, we've grown significantly over the time. So we bought an office closer to our town, which is in Derby, and have just refurbished that just to try and make it a really nice place for our guys to want to come to and work, especially since post-pandemic. I disagree that most people want to work from home. I don't think they do. They just want to be somewhere they feel safe, comfortable, and enjoy it.
Are you finding that is the same for everyone, or is it a bit of a hybrid version where they want to work from home a little bit? Or
no, all our guys wanted to come back. We have a relatively young team, as you often do in marketing. We have our own postgraduate scheme, so we attract a lot of talent locally. And we found, they were saying to us, how soon can we come back? They enjoy the atmosphere and they're a social bunch. So that really motivated us to find the right place and just to make it a good place, an interesting place to be. And nobody really wants to work from home. We can do. We're all geared up to do it, but we don't.
With marketing, creativity, collaboration really is a lot easier when you're all together. Even, I know we've got the virtual meetings and it's better than it ever has been, but just being in the same room with someone and bouncing ideas off the wall,
the same.
It's just completely different. So
yeah, you're absolutely right. To be able to stick your head up and go, what do you think of this, guys? And suddenly you have a conversation about it. And that is so important in a marketing agency, in that environment. You have to keep that momentum going all the time.
So you work with your wife?
Yes, yeah.
What's that like?
Good, actually. I mean, we've worked together for a long time now, and we have very different roles in the business. But actually, we're now, because of the way the business is developing and growing, and we have other areas of the business that we're doing, we're actually now joint managing directors because we make all the decisions together anyway. It just makes more sense. We're bringing through the next generation as well now. So Lauren, who started with us as a marketing assistant many years ago after getting a degree in journalism, is now our client strategy director. And we've just recently taken on Katie Brzaki, who is our operations director. So we have a really strong team that we're growing.
Good. No, that's. I only asked that because I've worked with my wife before, and definitely we kept the separation. Do you sort of, you don't share a desk or like sit opposite each other? Are you in separate rooms? Or
she's moved me downstairs now. The way.
That's key. I think that is very key. That makes perfect sense.
Absolutely.
You've got your own space, but of course you make the decisions.
And don't talk too much about work at home. I think is always a good one to do.
And it's definitely something that can make a difference to success, really, because you can get sick of it. You can really just talk about work. I know when it's your own business, though, it is different. You've got a passion for it in a different way to, say, an employee may have. So, yeah, it makes a difference. So, where did pigs come into all of this?
Well, we were involved in pigs from very early on. It was actually set up by Dave Broxton, who's a well-known figure within the industry. Really, initially to help the journalists within the industry just get together, in London, have a chat, meet with a few people, and it kind of grew from there. I was an early when I was spent my time with EdgeTech, helping them set up in the UK. We were very much sort of advocates of pigs, and we used to hold quite a few events. And a few years ago, Dave approached us and said, would you like to take this on? Which we jumped at the chance. It was a big honour actually, because it was already pretty established then. But what we've done, we've broadened it out, and it's a social event. It's about getting together. There's no agenda to pigs at all. We don't let anybody do a load of promotion. We're very honoured to have fantastic sponsors who sponsor us time and time again. Put a couple of £100 each behind the bar, get some food, and that's it really. So,
that was good, especially you had an event, new location, wasn't it? No, coming up is the new location.
Yeah, we're first time, and it was by request really. We're actually going to Bristol as well, which is great. I love the Southwest anyway, and some fantastic companies down there. It's a real hub of glass companies as well as fabricators. So I'm looking forward to that one.
And you had the one in Manchester, which I was booked to go to, but I was unwell, so I didn't quite make it.
No excuses.
It's also, I definitely wanted to go. I was ready to go, but I'll be popping along tonight. How did that one go? The first time in a while that everyone got together.
It was good. We'd done the Birmingham one toward the end of last year. That was November time. We had about 180 people there, something like that. We go to large venues now. And that went very well. Manchester was very successful as well. There's a lot happening actually that week, but still people found the time to come over. And yeah, it's just very easygoing, and we know a lot of business gets done there as well, which is not a bad thing.
So, from a marketing point of view, I know you're in the fenestration world, but you are in other industries as well, aren't you?
Yes, we're kind of our passion is the glazing industry. I got into it many years ago, working with installers and setting networks up of installers for different products. But we've expanded into other home improvements. We're very involved in renewables, in other sectors such as kitchens, etc. We're also very involved in construction, as well as where we are in the East Midlands, we have other clients. So, but we're still kind of our core is the glazing industry.
Have you noticed, from a marketing point of view, how different our industry is to the others? Are they sort of ahead of us in any way, or are we?
I think the glazing industry has always been quite a good innovator, really. I know you were talking to Matthew Glover yesterday. People like that with a real passion, a real knowledge, really pushing the boundaries. Glazing industry is full of that. We're a bunch of entrepreneurs at the end of the day. When you go to some other more corporates, we work with some quite large clients. It is a different feel, a different way of doing things. But I think be able to roll your sleeves up, and say, right, we're going to launch this new product. How are we going to get it to market? We've always been very good at that in the glazing industry. We're all salespeople.
Yeah, but that's exactly it, and it sort of makes it great, but at the same time it can be quite difficult to sell something to someone because there's a double glazing salesperson in there somewhere.
Yes, and that's what I was using at a party actually. If I don't want to be there, I'll say, "What you do?" I'm in double glazing, and they drift off at that point, don't they?
Yeah, I noticed that. And it was people. As soon as I said I could call myself a double glazing sales consultant, and they just. So, are you knocking on doors? I said, no, I've never knocked on my doors in my life, but that's what they see. Yeah. And then the likes of white gold coming along, sort of great entertainment value for us, but it didn't do anything good for our industry.
No, not really. So I think a lot of that's very true as well.
That's the worrying thing. There's a few questions that I ask usually in these podcasts, but this is sort of a hybrid version of a bit of a live and bit of your journey.
Yeah.
But in the whole of your working journey, whether it's in the fenestration world, was there a low point in all of that? Was there a low point that sticks out for you?
Yeah, funny enough, it was when I decided to get out of the glazing industry. I was very successful. My background was roofing originally. I ran a roofing contracting company, and then I worked for some large commercial roofing suppliers, and I was actually asked to get PVC roofing into the domestic market by a large company, and that was great because I didn't go to roofing companies. I went straight to glazing companies, and we trained them up with a proper MVQ system, and that organisation is now called Seeker Roof Assured, and it's still going very, very well, and you'll see it advertised in all the magazines. But I was tempted away to lead that, to go to an electrical wholesaler, and I hated it. It lasted about 3 or 4 months before Profile 22 rescued me and got me back into the industry.
Right, I see. Did it help though in a way you sort of saw that what you didn't want to do basically? You knew exactly.
Yeah, I think I can't, because I love marketing and the sales. I needed something that isn't just a commodity. For electrical appliances, selling to people like Mighty and things like that. It's just a commodity, and I didn't enjoy it. But that challenge of actually working with installation companies and helping people grow their businesses, it's pleasurable to do. You get a kick out of it.
So do you cover, this is just general interest now, is it more, who do you work with more now? Is it still sort of installation companies, or is it more?
We work across the supply chain really. So we work from component suppliers right the way through to installers, and we have a good network of customers there across the country, and that's great because we see both sides. We obviously do a lot of tracking of sales inquiries, the lead and lag that's happening out there with homeowners of whether they're having from inquiring to actually placing orders, and that's great because we work with a lot of fabricators in the trade side, so we can feed that raw data back into that chain there. And we find that's extremely useful. And having such a good network of customers also meant, whilst when we're coming out of pandemic and with all the issues we've had with price increases and everything, it's been great to have that barometer and work with organisations to try and make some sense of everything.
Brilliant. Now the flip side to that other question, the low point, is there a high point that sticks out for you?
I think I really enjoy working, companies we worked with for a long, long time, seeing that, they've sort of maybe taken it from a 5 million to a 40 million pound business. And, I think when you meet with those guys and you meet with their customers and see what they've done, it kind of gives you a little bit of pride, actually. It shouldn't do, but it does. I really enjoy being part of that. And that, we've been some contribution toward that business growing, and I think so. We get a fair few highs really from that, I suppose, it's very enjoyable. I'm also enjoying very much the joinery network that I'm involved in as well, which we have a little stand here at the show, and that's really about looking at timber and how do we bring timber back to the mainstream, as we're very much part and parcel of helping companies bring aluminium into the domestic market. With sustainability is a big issue as it is now, to have another product that's very sustainable, just creating opportunities really. So we set it up as backing UK manufacturers, really looking to expand out with a professional view, good products, fully tested. It's an interesting thing to be involved with.
That is interesting. Is it engineered timber products or a mix of everything?
There's a mix. Engineering products are most of it now, although we do, there's a lot of hardwoods as well. But what we're doing really is we've created a timber window system that can be worked with a number of different woods, and then we help joinery companies and actually some startups as well actually get making a fully certified PAS 24 system. We work very closely with Secure by Design, who approached us a couple of years ago, saying they like what we're doing and could they work with us and alongside, and that's growing quite nicely. And so it's just really about helping people do it professionally rather than make a couple of windows that may not conform to all the standards that you see out there quite a lot. So we have about 40 companies in the network now who are making windows and doors on a regular basis.
Well, timber for me, it used to solve the problem. A lot of conservation areas, some people just prefer the feel of it and they're willing to, it was never the cheapest option, but it was always explained that there are other options. And with engineered timber, it changed things, because those that had to have timber, I could always explain to them, look, there is less maintenance. There's still technically some maintenance, but it's light years ahead of where it used to be. And even the hardwood, if it's not engineered, and the paint technology that is now there, that it can breathe, you don't have to maintain it every year, you just keep an eye on it if it's in the sun. All of these factors were a selling point, and it's got its place, and it will always have that place in my opinion. So if it helps with sustainability and everything to go with that, it's a bigger plus, to be honest.
Yeah, you're right, Richard, and I think there's you talk to installers, well, I don't know if I want to, I don't really want to sell timber because I might be able to get a window one week and then the joinery company that's making it for me is too busy afterwards, and you can't get that certainty of supply that is needed. And that's really behind the joinery network, is creating that network of good, fully certified, professional joinery manufacturers making a consistent quality product to a system and making that really available to installers who may want to put a front door in and PVC windows next to it, or aluminium windows, or put a timber door in an aluminium frame. It's about having those options. We need to keep selling and come bring something new to homeowners.
That is exactly right. That's the amount of customers that I had. They would go down the route of UPVC. I mean, with the technology in the timber-looking flush sashes and everything that's available, customers were quite comfortable, if they were permitted by regulations, to have the UPVC because it was less maintenance. But some of them would not. Their front door was important to them, and they wanted the timber, and they were okay with that little bit of maintenance. It was every 5 years or whenever it is. So that's fine. It's easy to access, and even the process of painting it is just a protective coating in most cases. So you're not stripping it back to the bare wood, and it's a breeze. Most people, in some cases, if they were doing the whole house, they'd probably have someone do it for them. Whereas otherwise, it was a nice mix, and I had that a few times actually. to the point where they were even using local joinery companies still. So the networks and everything that you can build up, that makes perfect sense, because people do want to use local. They want to find that good quality joiners that know what they're doing, and that's going to help.
Yeah, and I think that is the case, and I've spent quite a bit of time in Bristol over the years, and you look there, they'll put all timber windows at the front in the conservation, there'll be PVC at the back, and that's great, that's fine. We need to have that flexibility.
So, last question is something that I started asking recently, so feel free not to answer it, because we can always cut this. And I think you probably got quite a good answer because of who you work with, but of everyone in the industry, in the fenestration industry, if you had to spend 2 weeks on a desert island with one of them, from someone from within the fenestration industry, who would it be?
I can't say my wife.
Oh, you could say your wife. That's an easy one. But if there is someone else, I had Paul on the other day, and he works with his wife as well. So he said his wife initially, and then he came up with someone else. So if there's someone else you can think of,
I think probably. I think I'd probably say John Vanstone, actually, because I know John well, worked with him, we've had a few beers, he's always got an opinion on something, he's got a lot of knowledge, and we could have some good discussions, especially when we get into politics and things like that as well. So that would be a bit of fun.
Brilliant. Andy, thank you for your time.
Great. Thank you very much, Richard.
And until next time, we'll catch up at another point.
Yeah. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Until next time.